boys and girls. Today we're going to work on drawing cave art. So we learned about cave art and you're going to create your own on your sketch first. So you have a packet that you can look at and you are going to draw some symbols and some animals on here. Look at the basic forms of the animals when you're drawing them. So I'm looking on the paper and drawing it straight from there. It does not have to be perfect. This is our sketch, so we're just trying to figure out our ideas on here. And then from there, we're going to move it onto our final copy. So here is one animal that I drew. Maybe I want to add some other on here. Okay, I'm going to draw some symbols on here too from the packet. Now there's a bunch of different ideas that you can look at. You can think about the cave painting, the cave art that we looked at, and see what symbols you want to add in here. But you want to fill in most of the page with these designs. And then we're going to move it onto our final copy. Okay, there we go. Once you have this drawn, you are going to move it onto your final copy. Your final copy is a brown sheet of paper. This is a little curled up. Yours will be a little flatter. And you're just going to redraw what you drew on your first copy much neater. When you are drawing this on here, try making your symbols maybe a little bubbly. And also, don't do them too close to the edge for a reason you will soon discover. You might find that you need to go back and add in some details if you have too much space free, and then you are going to outline your design in Sharpie and erase your pencil line. While you're erasing, you might notice that this paper is a different paper than what we normally use, so some of the eraser might take off the paper, and if that happens, you can just brush that off your eraser tip and keep using it. Shake the eraser shavings off your paper, and now we're ready to color this in. So you're going to color this in using earth tone colors, which are some colors that we learned about for the cave art project. So you could do like browns and oranges and yellows and reds and greens, colors that you would naturally find outdoors. And you are going to then color this in, not the whole thing, just the items that you drew on here. Try to stay in your lines as best as possible. And when you're coloring, you want to color it in by pressing hard. You don't want to press really lightly. You want to be pressing hard. But you want to press so hard that your crayon snaps. We don't want to do that hard. Okay, now that this is all colored in, just double check to make sure you have it all completely colored in. You don't have to color in the background. We will be painting that. Return your crayons back to their home. And you are ready for the next step, which we are going to make this look really old using a tearing technique. So you're going to take the edges of your paper and very carefully rip it. It might be better to keep your fingers on both sides so you don't just start ripping too far into it. This way you can control what direction you're ripping a little more, especially if you put your animal very close to the edge of your paper or a symbol. You can control this a little bit more with your finger right there. If it rips into your design a little, that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and rip all four edges of this to give it a little older look. Okay, I have this all torn. You just want to, when you're tearing it, stay close to the edges. You don't want to rip all the way into your paper because then you're going to get a really small paper. Next step is going to be to crumble this up. Then uncrumble, and if you want it to be a little more crinkled, crumble it up again in a different way to give it some more crinkles. And you can repeat that as many times as you would like until you have the desired effect that you're looking for. Once you're done uncrumbling or crumbling it, uncrumble it and flatten it out. Throw your scraps in the garbage from your paper and get a mat. So now you're going to paint this once again using earth tone colors. So I have my paint here and my paintbrush, and you don't have to paint the whole thing, you can just paint bits of it. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, wipe it off on the edge of the cup. Remember, you're not doing this because that makes a mess, and you're not doing this because that taps paint everywhere. So you're going to get your paintbrush, wipe it off, and then get an earth tone color that you want to use, and you can paint wherever you want on your paper. It can be over design if you colored hard enough. It will resist that. If you want to wash off your brush, wave it around there a couple times, wipe it off, and then get another color, and you can paint in different areas. Get some more water so you can spread your paint a little more. Keep wiping as you're doing that, and you're going to paint this whole thing in however you desire using earth tone colors. I think I'm only going to be using reds and yellows and browns. Some of these colors might not show up as well as others on the paper, and that's perfectly fine, so you can experiment with that and see which ones you like the best. And the really cool thing about this is when you're painting, since we have it all crumbled up before we started painting, when you paint, it like sort of goes into those cracks and it gives it this like older, really cool look. So I'm just going to finish painting, and then I'm going to put this on the drying rack. You do not need to paint the whole entire thing, and you could just leave it like this. It's up to you, however you want it to look. Now I'm going to let it dry on the drying rack. Have fun, boys and girls.